Welcome to Chris Collins Unleashed. All you have to do is listen.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unleashed. How you doing, G-Man?
Doing well. Feeling good.
We got a fun subject today that was inspired by G-Man and his son calling in sick on us. Going
fun for you, not fun
business
for me.
with family members and friends. Should you or shouldn't you?
You shouldn't.
Shouldn't?
You should not.
No way.
No. I've had a lot of experience, and none of them have been very.
Give me your
good.
worst experience on going into business with family members.
Well, I mean, my wife and I, we almost got divorced over that. So I was
just subtle.
That was a small problem.
My wife and I,
issue.
We almost killed each other.
So my wife's working for an orthodontist, and she was doing like appointments and scheduling and, you know, doing a good job, and he was happy with her and she was making decent money. And I was working at the dealership and managing that. And then I had this other business that I had opened, and I was struggling because I wasn't on top of it enough. You know, I was there, like I'd go for lunch, I'd drive over there and I'd meet with the people and then check on them and everything. So, I said, well, you're over there, you're working for this guy who's paying you, and you do an amazing job. You know, my wife, she's an amazing person, right? And I thought, why don't you just come work for me and go and help me run our business? And then you could put the same level of attention and passion into that, and help me manage this thing. And so we agreed and we did that. And it was abysmal. It was a disaster. There's a lot of things like this list that we got, and it's got a lot of stuff on here.
It affected your sex life?
Everything, man, everything. I'm looking at the list, I'm going, yep, had that. Ooh, had a little of that. Had a double dose of that one. It was rough. I mean, it's rough on the marriage. The crazy thing is you don't know where your marriage, where your business stops and your marriage begins. They start to kind of like blend. And that gets a little rocky because nobody really knows their role. You know, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, you don't want to put your wife in that line of fire.
No,
because when things don't get done, and then you're arguing with her about that, and then it just doesn't work.
There's enough stuff to fight about when you're married for 25 years.
What do you fight about after 25 years? You make it sound like prison. Are you married? Or are you in prison? What is there to fight about?
I don't know.
Your wife is amazing,
dude. I have the best wife on the planet. There's no doubt.
I'm gonna go on the record right now saying whatever the fight is, it's your fault. It's your fault. I take her side. I don't even know what it is. Whatever you're fighting about, I take her side.
So
in 90% of the situations.
What gets me in trouble now is
this podcast.
I reveal too much on the podcast. No, what gets me in trouble now is I'll tell her, well, you should just go blow them up. Like, have you blown them up yet?
In reference to like the dry cleaner or what?
Yeah, the dry cleaner, the cable guy.
Gary's shirts are a day late. Did you blow them up?
He left a stain on my shirt. Did you go down and blow them up?
Honey, I got a system for the dry cleaner. I don't need to blow them up. You got to be careful saying blow them up around anything.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you, stuff downtown LA is very touchy. Everybody thinks
yeah, exactly.
This beard, sometimes I think I look like a terrorist. You just set your gym bag down on a corner for no reason, and
everybody runs away.
Yeah, all of a sudden the police come. It's funny.
Oh,
everybody's very sensitive. Yeah, so I think in 90% of the situations, I take your wife's side with that.
Oh, I would almost bet nearly 100%.
So let's kind of tell everybody the situation with your son. So it was kind of my idea, right?
Yeah, it was your idea.
So he's off for the summer from college.
Yep.
Great kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, he's going to college for business.
Yep, business marketing, as a matter of fact. Yep.
And so I said, well, hey, the stuff he's going to learn at college is the real stuff. Like, let's teach him copywriting.
Yep.
So over the summer, let's pay him. and let's teach him. He can, help us with some of our sequences and some of our stuff here internally. But, the stuff that we know about copywriting, he's not going to learn in college.
Yeah.
And so we'll teach him. And so
they don't even talk about Halbert in college.
Very, no.
They don't.
It's funny, like these copywriters from big ad agencies and stuff, never heard of Halbert. Like, it's crazy. So then my deal with him was that he would go to the gym with us in the morning. So we have this tradition where we meet at 5:30 and we walk to the gym. We work out for an hour. And some days we do cardio, some days we lift. And then I said on the walk back, like, we can review what you learned from the day before. And, because once the day gets going, it's kind of hard to sit and give him the attention.
Yeah.
And, we can hang out and talk. And so, we got him a gym membership.
Yep.
And then the first week, all of a sudden, he wasn't there on a Monday.
Yeah, you missed a day.
And I'm like, where's Junior? It's Monday. I'm like, yeah, I know, but where's Junior? Well, it's Monday. I'm like, I don't know what that means. If you would have said it's Sunday, I know what that means. I know Sunday is usually we're not working on a Sunday, although we do sometimes. But so that was funny.
That was funny. Yeah.
Now
I didn't want to out him, but he said, hey, I don't have anything to talk to Chris about. I don't think he's expecting me to come. And I go, okay, all right, I'll see you later. And I went to the gym.
And now you're caught in the middle.
And then I'm caught in the middle, which
from that, then you said,
terrible spot
I'm no
to
longer
be.
in the middle. Just you text Chris directly.
It said, I'm out.
I'm out of the middle, which is better, actually.
Oh, yeah. Way
because,
better.
It's hard with family, right?
Yep.
Although, I will say this, as controversial as this might be to some people, is I think that with family or just with employees is the problem most of the time is lack of vision and clarity and, being clear with people what the expectations are.
Yeah.
And so you're less likely, like you with your son, you're less likely to dig into him because you're digging into him about other stuff.
Right.
You're more worried about college and like all that. So you're not as likely to dig in about a part-time job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard for me. And I think I'm probably the worst at that. Cause I don't, I'm a little too easy on them. We're just talking about my wife. They have their challenges, and she definitely holds them to task. And so I have a tendency to be,
I didn't get a text from her about him calling in sick.
Oh man, she's all over. Poor kid.
No.
She ain't gonna text you, but she's blowing him up.
Miss G-Man has not reached out to me today.
She won't blow up the dry cleaner, but she'll blow my son up. She's got no problem blowing my son up. Poor kid.
So funny.
Yeah. So I think I have a tendency to be a little easier on them, and I kind of go, I'm the good cop to her bad cop in a lot of cases. We'll switch roles every now and then, but that's usually how it goes. And so I'm a little too easy on him.
You know what my biggest disappointment with him calling in sick is I had him convinced to do these bits for the new podcast on jobs millennials want to be replaced by robots, which I think is drop dead hilarious. But today was the day to record him, and he's not here. But I thought that it would have been hilarious.
I know.
So everybody listening, you're not going to get jobs that millennials want replaced by robots, because in the news, everything's like, oh, your jobs are getting replaced by robots. And I have the feeling most millennials are sitting out there going, thank God they're going to get a robot to do that.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that.
Let me tell you the jobs that aren't going to get replaced by robots. Picking oranges.
Right.
Picking grapes. There's plenty of stuff they don't, that nobody wants to do that isn't going to get replaced by a robot.
Yeah.
It's going to take human. But I thought that would have been funny.
Oh, it would have been great.
I apologize to everybody listening. You're not going to get that.
So example number 2.
It's the millennials' fault that
why I'm on
he
the
wants
side.
that to be repled by a robot.
Yeah, he wants coming to work.
Coming to work being replaced
going to the
by
gym.
a robot. It's
man,
so funny. What were you going to say? Because we're going to take a break.
I was going to say that's example number 2. Number 1 was the story about my wife, which is why I'm contrary. I don't think it's a bad idea. And then now I got my son, who's now I got to worry about him. It's just too much. I don't like it. I don't need it.
Okay, when we come back from the break, I'm going to give you a business that you're going to change your mind and you're going to say, no, yeah, you need family in that business. So I think it can depend. No, I guarantee it.
No.
Guaranteed.
We'll see it.
We'll be right back.
Hi, Pack. This is DJ Missy, Melissa, if you're mad at me, and I hope you're having a great day. And I'm here to make it even better for you all. And I'm going to inspire you with some quotes from rap lyrics. As we all know, hip hop and rap are really influential art forms right now, and we hear lyrics evolving in all the best ways. So go ahead, listen, and feel inspired. Now, I can't rap for you, but let's get started. Quote number 1. Remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself. Jay-Z. That's right. It's all about you. You have created the person you are today. You make every decision, and so have confidence in those decisions you're making. And remember, we pave our own path. Number 2 is from the song I'm Alright. Being happy is the goal, but greatness is my mission. Childish Gambino. Happiness isn't always the destination. It's a journey. We need to be reminded to keep striving for the bigger and the better. Number 3, I'm here to spread a message of hope. Follow your heart. Don't follow what you've been told to do. J. Cole. It's J. Cole. Enough said. Number 4, I don't make songs for free. I make them for freedom. Don't believe in kings. Believe in the kingdom. So Chance, by talking about kings and kingdom, is suggesting that we don't focus too much on the idols, the figures who've already reached the top. Focus on environment around you, the tools, the people, and more importantly, yourself. You don't need idols when you have yourself. And with that being said, before I give you the last one, remember to welcome the opportunity that the world has to offer every day and enjoy the rest of the show. Here's number 5, a lyric by the greatest Tupac. No matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it.
Welcome back, everybody. We are talking about going into business with family members and friends. G-Man is a hard no. I believe that there are certain situations where, although, I was in business with one of my brothers and that didn't work out, but I don't know. I have dreams of grandeur, probably that in certain situations could work, but I don't know. It's harder. It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to share your expectations, which that's a tough thing because your expectations are pretty high.
I was going to say, sharing my expectations was not the gap. I shared my expectations.
Yeah.
Getting somebody to believe.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That it's possible.
Yeah.
Is the work.
Yeah. They have to share.
Everybody thinks really small.
You shared it with him. He did not share it with himself. He did not think as big.
It's the unknown,
Yeah.
He's got to see. Sometimes you got to see it to believe it a little bit.
Right.
Okay, I got a business. I got a couple actually.
By the way, your brothers do not represent you. Just FYI.
What do you mean?
I just knew that right out of the gate. The minute I met him, I was like, "Wow, that's Chris's brother."
They're just like me, though.
They look like you, but they're not just like you.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're different, but
yeah,
they.
I could see it right out of the gate. I'm just saying. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but I could see it was a mismatch.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about. I mean, they've had a different upbringing. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Their take on me was that all I cared about was money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which was odd to me because not too many people come away with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was interesting. And I think just because of the upbringing and, we were saying this in the last podcast, but a key to running a good business is talking about the numbers and having goals for the numbers. And so that could give somebody the impression that's all you care about. But you can't run a healthy business if you're not looking at the numbers. Right. Doesn't mean that's all there is, but it is the clear indicator of what your results are.
And that what you focus on and measure and, and tweak and twist and improve upon, that's going to get better. So if it's not numbers, what is it?
I wish we had a drum roll right here, Lucas. Okay, are you ready for I'm going to give you one, and then I'll kind of give you an example of another where I think business really, really benefits from family members. Because what's the biggest upside of having family involved in a business?
They know you.
I don't think that's it, but okay. What if you are going to start a mafia or a cartel? What if you want to be a drug underlord?
Yeah.
Who else are you going to trust but family?
Yeah.
Some family usually won't roll on you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so funny we're doing a thing on business and we're talking about the mafia. Like everybody listening wants to go start a cartel.
That's a business enterprise.
Right. But
not a legal one.
I think there's a lot to be learned from those types of businesses like the cartel, because they have to innovate and they'll figure out a way. But so then if you have car washes, right? What's your biggest, the thing that I've seen with car washes is the biggest issue is cash.
Yeah.
So you want to have family members up front or somebody you can really trust, because I don't know how many car washes, when I've talked to car wash owners about their books, there's a 25% shrinkage.
Oh yeah.
In that,
Yep.
And so car washes are ones with cash, but anything with cash, parking lots, things like that are hard.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one.
Vending machines.
Oh, vending machines, brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. So I had vending machines for a while, and man, it was so hard to control the cash. Like the margins.
But you can't have anybody else picking up the cash that you don't trust.
Yeah, so I ended up having to do it, which is a complete waste of time for the amount of money you make out of those stupid things. But so you would predict the margin. You'd buy the bars. You knew what you were selling them for. And you're like, okay, I should make this amount of money. And then it would come out short. And you're like, I can't figure out what's going on. And you realize somebody's stealing the cash out of the machine.
Yeah.
Like as they go and collect, they're just like a couple in it for me and then the rest for you. And they justify it somehow. But that's a tough one. The cash is tough. Yeah. If I had my wife or kids doing the rounds at the vending machine, we'd be fine. Yeah. It would have been okay. I would have kept that business.
I think sometimes bars are that way too. You need somebody that you can really trust watching the cash register. Mm-hmm. People over pour, free drinks, cashier, the cash goes in the tip jar, not on the cash register. So, it gets easier and easier because people more and more just pay with cards. Mm-hmm. They don't carry cash, but that I've definitely seen that not having that person that you can trust in that spot. A lot of shrinkage.
So I have a really good solution for that. And it goes to my position of not engaging in business with family is that you just don't go into those businesses. You just do something else. Then I can avoid the cash lost and I don't have to work with my family and everything's good. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
That's my fix it.
That's great, Gary. Thanks. Bummer everybody out. I was thinking about going into business with my fiance.
If my wife and kids listen to this thing, I think I hate them. I love you guys, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah, no.
I want to go to Disneyland. I just don't want to work with you.
When did you ever say anything different? Your wife's difficult. You can't go into business with her. Your son calls in sick.
Oh, man.
Now we're not going to have jobs millennials would like replaced with robots. No. It's a disaster, bro. So some of the cons we have on our list here, this is funny. Firing a family member can ignite a world war. That's very true.
Yes.
Can you imagine if you had to fire your wife?
Oh my God. No, I could not do it. There's no way. There's just no way.
Marriage is about safety, security, togetherness, and feels like the opposite of entrepreneurial endeavors, which is kind of what you were saying.
There's one in here that says, you have a role conflict, right? Are you my boss? Or are you my wife? Like right. And so that's one of the things that we ran into. Like there was this real juxtaposition because my wife runs the house. Like when you're in the house,
which is a business.
Yeah, that's her deal. Like that's her domain. I don't question any of that. And I run the business. And so like there was a weird role swap that was uncomfortable for her and it created a lot of conflict for us.
Well, listen to this fun little fact. According to psychologists, couples who work together experience an overload and interference. Overload means couples have insufficient time and energy to perform both as a family and business owner. Interference means since work and family activities occur at the same time, when does work and family begin?
Yep.
Or end?
Yep.
However you want to say it. That's how it felt.
That's rough. Oh, and I had my daughter working in that business too for a little while.
Oh, you could never fire Maddie.
Oh no, Maddie did an amazing job.
She could get away. Oh, sure she did. She was always late and called in sick, but she was the best. The apple of her daddy's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Because she sold so much, or what?
No, she was a preschool teacher, and so she would go out and service the accounts, and she did a great job. She did a really good job. But the expectations were just good.
Yeah, the expectations. When hasn't she done a good job? Let's talk about that. She was perfect.
She's perfect. Poor Blakey. She keeps saying she's the favorite child. In fact, she put a sticky note on my TV last night. Said sit with her pictures
on your TV in the house.
Favorite child.
I'm the favorite child.
Yep.
Just like my bulldog Tequila when he pisses on all the trees around here. Like
exactly
mine. She's like, look, Blake, I just want to rub it in more.
Oh man, it's funny.
And by the way, you're gonna call in sick tomorrow.
It's funny. That's right. Just kick him when he's down. He's down on the ground. Just gonna give him a little quick kick.
That's so funny.
Oh man, I'm sorry, family.
That's good stuff. So, how did you? Well, when we come back, let's take a break, and then when we come back, I'm dying to know how you resolved it with your wife and wrap that up nice and neatly, because it seems like you guys get along pretty good now from outside appearances. So let's talk about that when we come back. We'll be right back.
It's 1872, and Ulysses S. Grant is the 18th President of the United States of America. Grant, as commanding general from 1864 to 69, had been working with then-President Abraham Lincoln to lead the Union Army to victory over the Confederacy in the American Civil War. Grant also led the effort to remove the dwindling components of Confederate nationalism and slavery, support economic prosperity, and also protect African American citizenship. Good guy, right? However, in Grant's second term, he was criticized for tolerating corruption and for the eventual economic depression. But the key to this segment and relating it to family and business is, during his time in office, Grant appointed and employed over 40 of his relatives. According to Rose Cannon in this verse, even after many of them were proven to be corrupt and abusing their power, Grant either gave them a presidential pardon for their crimes or just allowed them to stay in office. She goes on to point out that one brother-in-law had stolen from the New Orleans Custom Office and was reappointed by Grant as the collector of customs, while another brother-in-law worked at the White House and frequently sold insider information without ever being punished. So other presidents that have done this kind of practice, the Bushes, the Kennedys, employing family members, fairly common, right? So what we're talking about in terms of the business practice is this fairly taboo term, and that is nepotism. So how is nepotism defined? It's usually defined as the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. It's kind of referred to as favoritism, preferential treatment, that old boy kind of network, looking after one's own, bias, partiality, keeping it within the family, that sort of thing. A fair comparison to that, to the presidency example, you might notice from my English accent, is in England, the monarchy, this form of kind of unelected wealth. So is it legal and is it allowed? So according to Cornell Law and the Legal Information Institute of US Code 3110, an individual may not be appointed, employed, promoted, or advanced in or to a civilian position in an agency if such appointment, employment, promotion, or advancement has been advocated by a public official serving in or exercising jurisdiction or control over the agency who is a relative of the individual. So, although this raises some legal concerns, especially in public office, which is why the kind of Trump family are getting so much heat right now, is US laws do not specifically prohibit hiring one's relatives. So who controls this, if it needs to be controlled at all? In the private sector, studies show that between 10 and 40% of US companies maintain formal policies prohibiting such a practice. So it looks like it comes down to more to the companies themselves, the businesses, to make those decisions rather than the law, ethical or not. So what are a few key examples of this current and happening right now? So Ivanka Trump, the daughter of Donald, talking of the Trump family, had openly admitted to benefiting from nepotism. She notices that getting her start by taking over the position of Vice President of Development and Acquisitions for the Trump Organization is most likely a result of being born into privilege. But Trump has also said, I think from there on though, you really do have to make your own luck. And that's something her brother kind of later suggests, Eric. If you don't do a good job, then it doesn't really matter if it's family. So Eric Trump, the Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisitions of the Trump Organization, is very candid and open about how nepotism is part of the Trump Organization. Nepotism is kind of a factor of life, he stated in an interview in February. We might be here because of nepotism, but we're not still here because of nepotism. You know, if we don't do a good job, if we weren't competent, believe me, we wouldn't be in this spot, he says, end quote. He also described nepotism as a beautiful thing. Okay, fine. This raises arguably the main debate of nepotism. Does it hurt companies and from scaling and growing and restricting opportunities and potential for other highly qualified candidates? Or, simply put, is it favoring relatives over qualified alternatives and higher results? So I want to leave this segment with an open discussion. What are your thoughts on nepotism? Should it be illegal? Is it fine? Is it cool? Keep the business within the family. It's all good. If you're the CEO of a company, would you like to keep it in the family, or are you not bothered and you'd rather just have the most qualified person in the office? Tweet us at BulldogCollins to give us your feedback and thoughts. That's at BulldogCollins on Twitter, and give us your feedback and thoughts, and I'll leave you with this question. Are results thicker than blood?
Welcome back, everybody. So today we're talking about going into business with family members and friends. G-Man's perspective on that is no. Mine is that it can work in certain situations where a lot of cash is trading hands and you really need to trust somebody, or your business is illegal and you don't want family members turning on you.
Yeah, right.
Which, I don't know. So so you have a business with your beautiful wife.
Yep.
And so then how long did you guys do that together, by the way?
She worked for me for about a year.
She worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
How would she? I think you worked for her. Wow, how quickly you forget.
My business. I owned it.
Oh,
man. I started
first of
that
all,
from
it's
nothing.
50-50 in the state anyways, but that's fine.
I was the managing partner.
So how did you fire your wife then? Let's ask that.
God, did not
You
fire
just
her.
fired her? You called her in and you're like, honey?
No, because
Did you do
the
whole firing of like, you didn't give her a reason, we're just going to have to make a change?
No. It did not go down that way. So she was an amazing manager.
Were you worried when you fired her that she was going to collect unemployment?
I did not fire her.
Were you worried she was going to collect unemployment?
She never took a salary.
Wait. You left out that you're complaining about your wife and she worked for free. So she had a job where she was getting a paycheck.
Yeah, a good one too.
A good
one.
paycheck.
Yep.
You made her quit that.
Yep.
You pulled her into
Yep.
this failing thing you had going on.
Yep.
And then you didn't pay her.
I didn't pay her.
But
yeah.
you complained and bitched at her the whole time.
Yep. And then get this. And then we had to dip into our own personal funds to make payroll one time. And like, oh yeah, so she's not getting paid.
But here you are, the expert, telling her how she's doing it all wrong.
And I got to dip into our own funds to make payroll because we ran into a little cash flow problem for a minute.
Okay. So how does it, we go a year.
So we go a year and it's going.
So you went a year without having sex.
It's going, yeah, right. Basically. It's going well. The business is running well and it's starting to work. And I really, my goal for that business, if you go back and watch, Unleashed #1, we talk about having a goal and what your goal was. My goal was to create a model that I could franchise. I wanted to franchise that business
from day one.
Day
that was
one.
Your goal.
That was my whole goal. So
when you saw the idea, you're like, this is a franchise.
I could franchise it. Yep.
Which it was. It still could be.
Yeah. And you and I had talked about the Fit Body Boot Camp thing, and like the model for that was perfect fit. So that's what I wanted to do with it. So we were trying to refine. And so I was less worried about making money and more worried about trying to figure out the system. You know, what type of equipment? How do I make it run efficient? How can I get somebody to do this and be profitable? And so that was my whole goal. But I don't think she didn't really understand that. And so that was really tough because we weren't making a lot of money at it, but we were working really hard. And so for me, I could see the goal out there. She couldn't see it. So it was really, really hard. And it's funny because they talk about that in there, having clarity. I did not give her clarity. Like I just said, hey, go manage this thing for me. You don't worry about the rest of it. I got this under control. But, so we did it for about a year and then we started working together. Right. And so our life's goal has been to live in San Diego near the beach. That's what we always wanted to do. So we've been talking about moving down there as the kids went off to college. We've been talking about it. So, selling the house was kind of on the table. We had been discussing it. Now I'm in LA a lot, and I'm traveling a lot and she's running this other thing for me. And so we said, well, look, why don't we move to LA? It's close to San Diego. We could live out near the beach and it'll be fun. And let's figure that out. So I said, maybe in a year or so we'll figure it out. Well, the next thing you know, my real estate agent, who's also a friend of mine, was at our house. We got a shingle up in the front yard
and 4 offers.
And they're getting ready to put the house up for sale. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, there's no way, like, we're ready to sell this house and move. This is just not happening. And so this is what I'm telling you, I don't know if it was conscious or subconscious, but she ran that thing right out of business because between me working and her managing and then selling the house, like she got the house sold in less than 30 days. That house was sold, gone. And I was like, I couldn't get in front of it. I couldn't make it stop. It was just done. We were moving to LA. I was on a plane to Chicago one time and I flew back and we were living in Los Angeles. So her thing was like, she just knew if she could make that happen, there's no way I could sustain all those things at one time. And she kind of overwhelmed me. And so we had to shut one down. And so I just said, okay, fine.
And you think that was strategic on her part?
I don't think it was strategic. I think it was more subconscious. Like she knew that
it was more the healthy thing to happen.
Yeah. That was her exit strategy. She knew there was no way I could argue with it when that happened. And she was right. And there's nothing I could do. And
how much better is your marriage since you shut that business down?
It's been 180-degree turnaround. Like it was the right thing.
So should I tell you now or later that she's our new office manager? She's coming in. She's going to keep you in line.
Oh my God.
She's going to manage your schedule.
She already does
She's
that.
She's going to take care of the books. She's going to run it tight.
Oh man, I love her so much. I could not. There's no way. But damn, she's organized.
That would be so funny. If
you think she was from the military or something?
She's the best.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So that was
fun.
it.
So that's our banter about family and business. But for the most part, it's probably harder than it is easier.
Yeah,
you got enough stuff to deal with as an entrepreneur that you don't need that odd dynamic of family or a spouse in business. It's war. Like it really is war.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put your spouse or somebody you really care about in the line of fire.
Yeah. And I think you told me this one time, somebody needs to be the rock. Like you need when everything's kind of going chaotic in your world and you're in business and like you said, like you're behind on your taxes, you're bouncing a check, you're trying to make payroll, like you're having to do all these things that an entrepreneur who's starting up has to do. You need somebody there to hold you together sometimes. And like having her there has been a huge benefit to me. So it was the right move.
I didn't say a rock. I said you need a soft place to land.
Oh, okay.
No, you need somebody to put you back together and fix your wounds and send you back out to war.
Yep.
Like at the heart of it, we're cavemen. Like we wake up every day to go hunt and kill stuff and, take other people's tribes and steal their women. And we don't do that. But hypothetically, we could be doing that.
Right.
And so, we get wounded. We need somebody to lick our wounds. And at least that's what I need.
Yeah.
I need a soft place to land. So the last thing I want when I go home is to argue about business with my wife. Right.
Yep.
It's got to be, they kind of, a lot of times are the only unconditional bias to you, no matter what person in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Like you were saying, the one person you can trust and count on above all else.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yep.
It's good. That was fun. Thanks everybody for listening. We will see you next time on Chris Collins Unleashed. Hope you have a great week.
See you.